So next up, we're going to be checking out Choopo's The Disturbing Dystopia of Among Us. I didn't realize Among Us had enough lore to have a dystopia, so we're going to be getting into some interesting territory of I did not know, and now I know too much. Let's find out where it goes.
Yeah, I'm here in a chocolate store. Bit of advice for you. Try trespassing before you're 18. You get in...
What? Okay, that's definitely a way to start a video. Okay. Choopo is not responsible for any consequence that may come from listening to him. Oh my god.
Less trouble. It's fun, timely, it builds character, and there's not all too much bad that can come from it. I know I did it today, and now I'm gonna eat all these chocolates, except for the ones with tree nuts. I'm deathly allergic. That's fake
Tree
chocolate. Huh. Death? Fakes? Imposter chocolate? Imposter Among Us? Let's talk about that. You already know what Among Us is. It's what you play with people smart enough to...
Okay, I'm just going to be completely honest here, and this might lose me a little credit. I've never played Among Us. I know of it, but also it requires you to be good at lying, and I'm bad. I'm really bad. The only way I can convince people I'm not lying is by being so horrible about telling the truth that no one can tell the difference. Yeah.
Play games at parties that require a little brain power, who are also too big of nerds to be invited to any parties to begin with. It's a franchise full of nub people earning beans in a capitalistic society dominated by major corporations that drag most of the remaining world population through the trenches. Uh-oh, insert topical joke here.
I would never think of that. That is so funny and weird and unrelated. Bill, not the weirdest thing you've heard. Fingy's made a Roblox game called... Okay, yep, that definitely takes the cake, and it's Fingy, so that makes perfect sense.
Majority of my observations and concerns surrounding Among Us come from one decently
How many updates has this game had?
This is Meera, an organization hell-bent on technological advances, space exploration, stripping alien planets of their natural resources, all in the benefit of a very small group of wealthy beanlings. They're the primary group at fault for every major problem in the Among Us universe. We actually have a substantial amount of information regarding Meera, but in the grand scheme of...
And the rich one have shoulder pads. That's the bigger the shoulder pads, the richer they are. Oh my, because they're only middle manager flunkies, so they have some shoulders, but no one has shoulders over here. He's the really big one, so he has all the shoulders. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on shoulders as status symbols.
Things, it's a not nice, very bad place that maintains an agenda at the expense of the Among Us outposts. For example, let's consider one of the most notable missions Meera assigns to their teams, collecting ore from asteroids to power their factories in a place called Dystopia. The problem with that comes from the cost of doing that one very specific thing. The ore might be good for power or something, but they got alien parasites in them, and that's bad. That creates a new dilemma regarding teams exposed to these parasites, as they can easily take over a couple of host bodies and one by one kill off the remaining crewmates, simply trying to continue their...
Oh, that's what there's actually lore behind. So it's not that there's something impersonating one of these things. It's that they're literally infected and it's the thing. It's literally the thing.
Operations for Meera while also, not dying. In Among Us, you're the crewmate and you want to stop the imposter because if the imposter gets you, you die. And in Among...
I just realized the imposter's the good guy. Okay, not the way I thought this was going.
Dying kills you.
Also
this is because when you die, you stop living.
My
Let's
God.
consider the POV of one of Meera's most notable collection of victims, the cast found in the Among Us show. I think one of the most important...
I'm sorry, this is a real thing? I was unaware this is real. I thought this was just some kind of web animation. I didn't realize it was a real show.
Important things this show does is establish that these aren't like animals with short lifespans. These aren't just like little guys that are expendable. Crewmates are baby beans. They have reasons to live. Working for Meera is considered a crucial honor amongst this society. Abusing unpaid internships to ensure spare bodies are always brought onto missions. Refusing to work with Meera's intentions can result in things like getting blacklisted, while favoring the wealthiest of crewmates, the ones willing to kneel to them, and the most attractive ones that are so so attractive that even the aliens and other species go, hubba hubba, what a hunk. Spoilers for the Among Us show, like obviously you're watching an Among Us video. I don't
What kind of hellscape is this game making of an actual world?
know what you expected. So Green is the newest of the unpaid interns, obviously
Oh, he's the green. He's new. He's green. Yeah.
put to shame by their elite brethren, White. Green's poor town of worm farmers raised them enough cash for this opportunity, and although they commit some inappropriate
They had to pay for him to take a free internship. Okay.
actions such as worm adultery, this is a genuine soul who's excited to climb the corporate ladder, dying 10 minutes upon arrival to a single alien, never accomplishing their dreams and probably leaving their worm farm hometown in shambles, never to be seen again, and this is one of many. Purple struggled to find a job after refusing to sign a Meera NDA. Lime has significant physical and mental health problems that Meera never bothers to assist with. The only way they're able to get help is through Blue being kind to them. The majority of this team relies on each other, not only as co-workers, but as friends. And
The imposter's the good guy. I'm not even joking about it. This is completely and utterly the case. Oh my god, this is a hellscape.
they all want situationships with Blue, but don't worry about that. All it takes is a couple of aliens, and then the entire crew's killed off one by one. They watch their loved ones get eviscerated, and without much they can do. And after
Just flick
years
them
of
off
this,
as it
the
goes
Meera
away.
certainly does nothing, and it only gets worse. Every game of Among Us is canon. Every round, every kill, every time the imposters have won is entirely canon. And that's nothing new in these types of games. Dead by Daylight, Fortnite, Fall Guys, all of them have a similar thing going on, but in those ones,
Wait, there's canon storylines for Fortnite? No, I refuse to believe that. There is weird, and then there's that. Let's just not do that one.
characters respawn an infinite amount of times, whereas they die here. And this game's been downloaded by our entire world. It shows up in movies. There's upwards
It
of
does?
billions of crewmates who have died because of Meera's missions and for nothing. No changes are made. Crewmates' lives are expendable. This is a society dysfunctional and reliant on what are practically suicide missions. And you can only imagine how bad living gets with the routes in which crewmates lose. Purple and Red are the only survivors. They were already on Meera's shit list for blowing up a reactor and forcing an evacuation of that outpost. Red was fine since they're a yes them, but even then, they know they're gonna be split up when they land the airship. This is still considered a win for them, and it's still depressing. Once imposters assure victory, now you just gotta deal with alien shapeshifters who will enter outposts across the entire universe.
Because the rocks still have parasites in them. Oh god. Also, according to Bill Cipher, good credit, bad credit, no problem. Are you dead? Fuck it. Ghost credit. Spatmon. Oh, God.
We even
Or
got some
Spamton.
making their way to the evacuated Meera HQ. Like, even Meera knows they goofed up, but they're not gonna clean up their messes. They're gonna let any crews landing their dropship deal with their own aliens. The Fungal's another good one, being what happens when one of the ships suffer a crash landing, making the best with
Oh, so it's multiple different episodes, or is this a different game altogether?
what limited resources they could get from their destroyed ship. They still gotta deal with imposters. The only map that we can feasibly say gets a pass to all this violence would be the airship, not being aligned with Meera, instead following an international crime syndicate known as the Top Hat Clan, as they gotta deal with
The top hat. The top hat. No, they wouldn't possibly. They're not are they actually referencing what I think they are? Oh, I don't know if it's the case, but I want to pretend it is, because that was not the crossover I was expecting, but that would be really If only they got some guy named Henry on the job. But here's a bit of a stick, you know, man?
imposters of their own, which should be able to emphasize the dangers of this invasive species making its way across the universe, because
that a laser eye?
the baby eggs, they're slightly better than coal. It's an Among Us video. Insert generic comparison to the hit 1982 John Carpenter film The Thing.
My God, the thing attacking people and possessing them to attack other people and then killing everyone is a reference to the game about attacking other people because you are taken over by something where you attack and kill everyone. I could never see this is just, way too weird, man. I don't know how you made this connection. It's just way too much.
Here. In that movie, at least the scientists in The Thing knew
Also, I'm being told it's made by the same people who made Henry Stickmin. Yep, Bill, that kind of makes a lot of sense. I just didn't think it was a direct comparison. Just funny as hell.
This was a one-off deal. At least they knew their deaths would save the remainder of humanity. For the Among Us-lings, they're
Nothing.
going, oh, I sure hope I don't die and stuff. That sounds painful. As they get to feel it firsthand. Listen.
Yep.
Have you ever been stabbed?
Not willingly.
Being stabbed hurts. That's not a good feeling. It's a health risk. A health risk that Meera doesn't give a fulcrum about.
Wait, what was that? Distance from effort to fulcrum. Distance from load for fulcrum. Yeah. Effort pushing down. Load. Not letting you push down. Yeah.
It's just like nonchalant, and I think that's the factor most bewildering of all.
Really? Really? That's the bewildering factor? That is. I might have to disagree with you on that one. In fact, that just seems the most relatable.
Either Meera is able to cover up these absurd mortality rates through
no one cares.
thinly veiled excuses like space travel being dangerous, or these little freaks don't have any other options. Maybe this is the only option for space travel, for jobs. It gets to a point where crewmates have to bring their children on missions, and everybody's cool with it. Polis is a cold planet with lava lakes on the surface. You know, me, big child labor advocate, but that's not the point today. Little 8-year-old Benjamin should not be here for that. And with Meera.
Was that an actual ad on YouTube? That was probably an actual ad on YouTube. I don't even think he had to make that up. Oh, dear God. I don't... Okay, let's just not even think about that.
Listen, that's the American dream. To be in space and doing stuff for some reason. I mean, sure, I guess if you're bored in your lifetime, you can create space expeditions to make all your wealthy little bean people wealthier, but that's besides the point. Crewmates enable themselves to lives of being manipulated and eventually killed off simply because nothing can be done. Every crewmate is chucked onto here, with Meera being okay at their eventual demise that'll be covered up through their human resource department being the LeBron of stripping crewmate rights. Gotta ask, too, how did the crewmates become the dominant species of the greater universe? They eat through osmosis, the suits are part of them, and from the looks of it, they're fairly squishy. They're almost entirely muscle, only consisting of a single bone, kind of like one of those meat thingies on a stick you see in like anime and stuff. What do you think a crewmate tastes like?
That's somehow even more disturbing.
Like to think they taste like veggie burgers. I don't think I would want to know if I was given the opportunity. I'm not a big fan of their back and genital things. I'm scared to analyze what this could be. Crewmates
okay, that was not what I expected out of this video. Among Us genital shots. I could have really not ever seen that and been perfectly happy.
They're sexless beings. They aren't wearing suits. What are these? What?
Fashion statements.
You know what really gets me? What's the point? How have the crewmates been able to gamble their lives at the rare chance of mediocrity for an enterprise that deems them unremarkable? And surely, after the sheer number of crewmates being eliminated on these missions, at least a few of them would have managed to share it as public info. Even then, why would the fellow crewmates enable their own species to repeat?
I'm assuming when they come back, they're also processed into food or something. It's all meat.
The same mission, knowing how dangerous the aliens are.
What?
Like literally, the only way that Meera would continue to enable this behavior beyond a profit would have to be through malicious intent or something.
Or, you know, just being an asshole.
Oh my god, Meera is ran by aliens. The ultimate goal of every population is to expand, to multiply, to grow. Humanity conquered the planet from all other species, and now they reach for the stars. Although we see wealthy assholes in the Among Us population, Meera's real intentions could be more than just simply money good. We want more money. What if
it's probably just to get more of the rocks, which has more of the aliens, because the aliens imposters are the ones running the company. That would make sense.
They're doing these missions with the intention of the aliens winning, therefore hatching and being able to invade other parts of the greater universe, more outposts, more environments.
Wait, what was that part? The outpost on Polis consists of 3 buildings and several pod stations. Oh, and that's why they have people coming back. It's literally an entire thing of... Also, Bill, remember, you're expected to continue working after death. Oh, God. That's actually canon, isn't it?
The only way this company could justify the sheer amount of their staff being eliminated would literally have to be if they were leading the other side. Meera's the enemy not because of money, but because they're the enemy. The top elites in Among Us land are all alien conglomerate people with the intention to doom everybody else. Shipping the eggs is a chance for them to migrate from asteroids into major civilizations, to assimilate and replace the existing life there. And then, all they gotta do is keep firing away, keep shipping off incompetent crews of replaceable cretins until all that remains is the aliens. And nobody knows better. They're innocent crewmates, and they've already fallen into the trap. They're either dying mid-missions or at the mercy of Meera higher-ups. And then they let a few of the incompetent ones lead as a top class to provide an impossible-to-reach carrot on a stick that dreams can be dreamt, but never attained. That the crewmates can follow their dreams so
Nah, I'm not gonna say a word. We're just not touching this one.
so long as they pledge allegiance to Meera and transport more space rocks. So sure, bring your kids, do unpaid internships, do all of that to keep getting meaningless promotions.
Also, just the little rated E for everyone. This is fun. Capitalistic hellhole run by people who probably want to eat you. Also, literally, the moon is hollowed out. Oh, God.
To get one step closer to your stubby little nubby dumb bean demise. And sure, there's
the
an
imposter?
effort to reduce casualties and missions through simulations such as the ones found in Among Us On Guard, but how long do you think Meera's gonna allow that? They're either incompetent fellow crewmates in a higher position, indifferent, or impossible.
I mean, to be fair, they could also just be incompetent and lazy. There's also that.
Who have already begun their final plan. This is the only possible justification for Meera's behavior in Among Us.
Other than
Money's
incompetence.
never motivated people to do awful things. There's a
Yeah.
reason we never see elderly crewmates. There's a reason we
No one
just
lives
see
that
so
long.
much death all the time. It's because there's no hope. Any moment there can be an uprooting and brutal death for any of these guys. And if anything, it makes you appreciate how determined they are, being fueled by little things, like little friendships, small hills of clarity between ever-growing valleys and voids of uncertainty. Uncertainty for life, for trust. For many of these crewmates, their
Dead.
final moments were ones of accusations, placing blame, arguing, all in a shoddy attempt to escape a painful fate, not among us, but among the only people around. The only ones who can be there for you in the cold and endless abyss of space, just for them to be able to backstab you for their alien population. It's sickening, and there's nothing that can be done about it. Meera already won, based on the number of Among Us games, and with all of the
Are there VR Among Us games on top of that? Oh, God.
knowledge that
How many different
every
games
game is
modes for
canon.
everything do
There's
they
certainly no
have?
crewmate capable of making a difference.
Granted, I shouldn't be asking this. I didn't even know they had a freaking TV show or something. So sure, why not? It's probably a web exclusive, but I don't even care. It's just, what the hell?
And the ones who possibly could are already in power. They only grow more powerful, with
And
their
they're in
tales
Fortnite.
and popularity spreading across the greater universe.
Nope, not even going to question it.
As they show up in more and more locations and collaborations,
There's
like
a
a
poster
plague.
among
The
us.
universe has been conquered, and all its residents are cattle for
Plankton.
those in the highest position of power to abuse and benefit from. This video is about Among Us. Ironically, the Top Hat clan might be the freest of free, regardless of the imposter situation. It's not much, mind you, but I
Yep, just flat out bring out the Top Hat clan again. I wonder if there's eventually going to be Among Us versus Stickmen. That'd be one hell of a show, actually.
wish nothing for the best for these crewmates. Except
Shields?
that, like, you know, when you spend time with them, you
Dead.
kind of realize you hate them. Have you ever played a game of Among Us? Most of them are loud children.
Among Us, but playing as mini crewmates with mods. Oh, God. I'm just trying to imagine what that many people in a single Discord call would sound like. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Among Us 3D, VR is an entertainment platform that is gone forever because it's designed for children. The main users are children. This is daycare. Among Us lobbies
Really?
are daycare where you bring these foolish creatures to their demise. I changed my mind. I'm rooting for Meera now. Well, that was depressing,
Oh my
but I'm not
God.
worried about that. I'm worried about gobbling up these yummy, yummy chocolates.
Which one's going to be the imposter chocolate? Also, according to Bill, yes, Jerma actually played Among Us VR blindfolded, showed up and gave him a scare blindfold. Ball Fondler is the one person Jeremy truly fears. I said a lot of words there. Okay, let's just not. I don't think I want to know the answer to anything I just said.
There's fudge, brownies. What about chocolate starfishes?
Nuts.
Ah. They taste like shit.
Okay, I thought it was going to be nuts, but no, it was just bad. Oh, wow. What the utter hell, man? Like, there's some weird shit, and then there's this. What is going on? Okay. I'm being told by Necro, half of the words I just said were correct. I'm more terrified that half of them were correct, because I was hoping none of them would be. Oh, God. I don't know what's going on here. This is weird. Among Us is a way crazier thing than I realized. I didn't know they were making TV shows let alone have a VR set of it. The kids all being all over it actually makes perfect sense, and that's just not even surprising. But sure, why not? The guy who modded it so you could have all of the people in a single lobby. There are lines, man. There are lines. Oh, boy. You guys know the deal. There's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. I'll see you in the next one. Adios. God.